Oh yeah, don't attempt to change that dial because we are here, ladies and gentlemen, for the Halloween Havoc recap 2020. And I hear voices in my head right now. This is the Botcho Man, Danny Savage, not to be confused with my uncle, the Macho Man. God rest his soul. But don't mention our cousin, Ben Savage from Boy Meets World. He's not liked around here on the Hummy Media Group, as we are here for your Halloween Havoc 2020 review. And I would like to introduce to you, my good friends, on this recap. Introduce yourselves, my friends.
I'm over here trying to light this thing. I just burned my finger. Damn it. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the... I'm not the reporter of the people anymore. Let me just pull down. So basically, I am part of an organization just trying to do the very best I can to help America really be great again. That's what I'm doing here. My name is Antifa Gimmick Jones. I used to be known as Big Ray, but I changed my name. Why? I don't have any real reason, but anyway, I'm excited to be here. I feel like I'm making a difference in the world. And how you doing there, Botcho Man? Oh yeah.
Yo, brother, it's doing good. I have to say, though, I have a problem with the president of the World Wrestling Federation, Jack Tunney. I am not going to vote for you in 2020, brother, because you're a no good, dirty bastard. I heard Hulk Hogan was here the other week, by the way, and if I see that no good son of a bitch, I'm going to take him down. Oh, yeah.
I got a question. Are you supposed to fill these Molotov things with coconut oil? I have some bath oil. Things that, because I tried to do the whole gasoline thing, but it had a bad smell. So I just wanted to kind of fill it with something nice, something.
I don't think it's quite as effective there, Big Ray.
You sure?
Well,
anyway. Oh, I got to keep my mask up. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Got to be safe. And I believe we have someone else here with us, though. It's not just me and you, Ray.
Why?
Well, let's let him introduce himself.
Oh, hey, wait. We didn't discuss anybody coming on with us today. What are you talking about?
Well, he's in the room, brother. There's nothing we can do at this point. We're not alone.
Are you serious? You gotta talk about these things with me, Botcho Man. That's one hell of a botch, not letting me know.
Well, that's why they call me the Botcho Man.
So who is it? What do we got? Athers. We got MacGyver. Andrew Bello. I mean that's the bottom of the barrel, but I'm trying. Strangler. Who's here?
It's someone you know very, very well.
Oh, good. Matt Schaffer. Awesome. Very cool. I'll take that. Yeah. Hey, Matt is nobody's replying.
Well, oh wait, did he leave the room?
That's
a good rib.
That is a good rib.
Well, we really did have three when we went live. It looks like we lost one, but maybe he'll rejoin us here in a little bit.
What do we do now? Oh, I got to put my mask back up.
Yeah, got to be safe. Well, actually, since you are in your home and you are clearly 6 feet from anybody, then you can take your mask down.
Hey, for those watching on YouTube, and I have the beautiful, the gorgeous Kamala Harris to my left, and then I have the future President of the United States. Look at that smile. Just Joe. I love crazy Uncle Joe, the Joe Biden. He is fantastic. You guys have to tune in on YouTube if you want to get the full gist of what we do here every single week. But yeah, so we got to find out what's happening with the.
I just got a message. Apparently, our third party lost his power right as we went. We had so much Botcho madness right here that
you got to be kidding me.
His power went out.
You know what it was.
Talk about Botcho madness.
Well, anyway, Matt Schaffer, I'm sorry you lost your. It was Matt, right?
Yeah, it's your good friend.
Sure. Maybe it was Blake Troop.
Or maybe it was McIver.
Yeah, I like him. Oh, Money McIver. Hey, how you doing?
Either way, well, hopefully our third special guest will make his way around as we get back to your next level wrestling review, the best place online where you can find your weekly expert analysis on everything NXT. As last night was a very special episode. I tell you, I have not been excited for a wrestling show to just watch. And great, I've been a part of different shows that I've been excited to be a part of. But as far as just sitting down and watching a wrestling show, this was the first time I've personally felt excited in a while. I think NXT did a good job building up this event, this TV special of Halloween Havoc, bringing back the old WCW pay-per-view as a live television special. And I thought they did a good job selling the show. And ultimately, we'll talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. I thought for the most part, they did a good job executing it. And I feel pretty satisfied after watching the program last night. Granted, there was some things that we'll get into, but overall, from top to bottom, I thought it was a pretty entertaining show. What were your thoughts, right?
Man, the first thing I noticed when I turned my television on was, man, this looks like a pay-per-view. Like, it had a big feel to it. The production was fantastic. Even Shotzi standing up there, she looked great, man. She looked great standing up there. The big wheel. Everything, man, the lightning going across the screens and stuff. It was very Halloweeny, if that makes any sense. Even more terrifying than my Antifa gimmick. But not for nothing, man. This was great. This was great. Very well done. Dude, I'll say this right off the top. This show was fantastic. And I'm going to go on a limb and say that so far in 2020, this has been my favorite WWE production, pay-per-view production, pro wrestling production. Like, I absolutely loved everything about this. There's not anything I didn't like, to be honest with you. Not any match I didn't like, not any storyline I didn't like. I know that they piped in, some crowd sounds here and there, but it just felt real. It felt good. It felt like a pay-per-view, felt special. And that's what last night was. And if you wasted your time watching AEW, then a pox on you. Is that what they call it? Pox? I don't know what the term is, but anyway, you get a Molotov right up your, what. And dude, this was fantastic. And if you didn't watch it and you wasted your time watching AEW, I would suggest you go back, find a way to watch it again, because it was that damn good, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, I agree. I thought top to bottom is a really, really good show. If anything, though, and now it's the question is, where do they go from here? But that's always the challenge of wrestling after any big show. How do you follow it up? And either way, I'm excited to tune in next week and see where we go from here. But I thought it was pretty good. Now, do we finally have our third guy? No, it's not here. I'm excited to know who it is. By the way, again, so I was thinking maybe lavender. I can fill this Molotov gimmick with some lavender oil. That way when I throw it, and it's burning whatever city I choose to burn down, because where I'm going, I don't actually live where I'm going, yeah, I got to find out. I got to speak to Steve and find out, not Strangler Steve. We got to find out where the van is going. But anyway, neither here nor there. So if it's a 2-man booth, we can do a 2-man booth. It's fine, dude. I've done a solo show. I've done this by myself. So having you with me, it's just a bonus. By the way, big shout outs to the Essential JB, and my brother, Bulletproof Blake Troop, spent 3 hours with them recording Cage Theory, like a super in-depth MMA talk, dude. It was so much fun, man. That might be up if you're listening to this already. Yes, it should be up. So I'm looking forward to hearing back. Who are you texting? Who are you typing? I'm not texting. I told you before we went on the air I was going to try to get all the tags and the thumbnails in. So I'm working on getting our tags up so that way people can find this great program on YouTube if they happen to be searching for Halloween Havoc or NXT reviews or anything of the like. They'll be able to find us and be able to find the best NXT expert analysis that you can find on a weekly basis. Right.
Well, you can just copy and paste those. You could just put them on a notepad or something. That way you don't have to do it every week.
Well, the tags change depending on, so the thing with YouTube, it's interesting. In order for search engine optimization, literally when you type in the matches or whatever happened on the program, it will give you the recommended tags each week based upon what's trending. And so it'll show me, so for instance, last night's NXT, I haven't gotten to the tags yet, but for instance, some matches are going to be more popular than others. And so people are going to be searching for certain things more so than others.
So this is going up Friday, right? Right now, it's Friday, right?
It's Thursday.
But I mean, when is this going up? Friday, correct?
As far as the podcast, podcast will hopefully up later today.
So tomorrow is
Thursday.
So in a day and a half, it'll be Halloween. Do you like Halloween, by the way? Are you a Halloween guy?
I'm not really a holiday person in general, to be honest with you. But I mean, I don't mind it. It's fine. I mean, any holiday's fine. Any day I get a day off, I'm happy with. But I'm weird. I don't necessarily get into the. If I go to a party or something, yes, I get into the festiveness of it and have fun. But I can't say I go and decorate the house and do all that stuff. I don't really get into the holidays too much.
Okay, I respect that. You have no heart. That's fine. So
Yes.
I'm a huge like I love the holidays, and I know we're kind of stringing this on, trying to get our third guy on, but neither here nor there. But I do love the holidays. I love I'm not a big fan of Halloween, but I get it for the kids and stuff. My uncle Joe Biden, you know, this guy loves the holiday. He loves Christmas, especially Christmas. So do I. Thanksgiving on. I am a different person. The level of happiness and giddiness in my soul goes up to a 12, past 10. That's much like the percentage that Joe Biden is going to win by, at least 12%.
That's right.
Absolutely.
If not 112%.
Look. Isn't she beautiful? Oh, she's so beautiful.
What do you think? Do you think if you had a choice between Kamala Harris and
what
I was going to say last night, Shotzi Blackheart,
Kamala Harris, but Joe Biden has to watch.
Oh, goodness gracious!
What? What?
I said, goodness gracious.
No, I heard. I'm just.
I got nothing on that.
Listen, well, I'll have plenty on that. But listen, yeah, the show was fantastic, man. I'm going to advise you guys to go back. Do you want me to jump into the very first match?
So might as well. Well, we kicked things off. It looked like they had a cool little opening. I thought that they had the camera pan around that showed their cool little setup with the graveyard and giant blow up pumpkin, and then Shotzi Blackheart had some kind of like onesie body outfit with like a saw that was like sparking out sparks.
Yeah, sparking out sparks.
It was sparking out sparks, and it was just a cool little opening to the show, and it already kind of brought you into the gimmick, the theme of it right away. You're like, okay, cool. I'm watching a live Halloween show, and you know, for someone tuning in for the first time, I think already you were kind of had an idea of okay, you kind of knew what you were in for to an extent.
Hold on,
at least I thought so.
Hold on. I'm just trying to kill the virus.
That's how you do it? You just smash it down?
Yeah, you don't watch Borat? It's a documentary. Borat 2?
I haven't seen the new one yet. I made my wife watch the first one the other night. I had to indoctrinate her into it. So now that we've seen it.
Unbelievable. But yes, I agree with you. Not now. Listen. I get it now. I get it with Shotzi. Okay. You know, it took me a little while to warm up to the young lady, but she's quite the looker, and I could see where you know guys would find her to be attractive. Love the big pumpkin, but as we get the introductions, we have Damian Priest in the ring or coming to the ring, and who was the guy playing the electric guitar? Who was that, man? That was awesome.
Yeah, he did great,
dude. I mean, Damian Priest.
Song.
Tell me you weren't super hyped up seeing Damian Priest just moshing while the guy was just, you know, ripping that guitar, dude. It was awesome. And then dickhead Johnny Gargano comes out, and what does he do? He cuts the pumpkin. Why would you cut that pumpkin? Unless you're carving it, but it's an inflatable pumpkin, so it defeats the purpose. No pumpkin. I wanted the pumpkin to be there the entire show. Now we get no big pumpkin. I'm pissed off now.
Very sad. Although some of it was explained a little more. If you go to the YouTube page, they have a couple network exclusive videos, which I would normally play for you like I have in the past, but apparently WWE is getting really good at dinging people on even their network stuff. Yeah, we got dinged last week just for that very short video that I played. That wasn't even a screen share. It was literally me throwing up my cell phone and pointing it at the screen, but apparently that was too much.
It's disgusting.
But as much as this, you know, I hate to, obviously, if you're on the Hami Media Group YouTube page, come right back. You can go to WWE's YouTube page, look at the video with Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, and then come right back to Hami Media because that's where the good stuff is.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me guess. I'm going to take a guess here. He doesn't like wheels, and he's afraid of pumpkins.
Well, the opposite. He's come around. He likes wheels now.
Oh,
obviously it worked out in his favor, but pumpkins, well, he kind of alludes to there's a long history with pumpkins, and
it wasn't good for Johnny Gargano. So there was at least an explanation as to why he would cut the pumpkin. Apparently there's some dark, sinister history with these gourds of the season. And it hasn't been a good history for Johnny Gargano.
Well, we got Shotzi Blackheart, and this young lady spins the wheel in that nice tight outfit. And we get a Devil's Playground match, which at first I was a little frustrated for the first minute and a half because I'm like, what the hell is a Devil's Playground? They weren't clear. It was a hardcore match, basically. It was a hardcore match. And hardcore it was. Hardcore it was. I mean, these guys really beat the living hell out of each other. Anything stick out to you? One of my fun moments was when they're fighting on the stage and the freaking skeleton pops out of the coffin. It actually got me. I laughed a little bit. Listen, I know I keep regurgitating the same thing every week there, Dr. Ted. Oh, I'm sorry, Botcho Man. But what I really hate is when they go to commercial and the little gimmick box comes up in the corner. And dude, I'm trying to pay attention to the little gimmick box because a lot of amazing things were happening. And they cut away to possibly one of the best parts of the match. And I got freaking Domino's Pizza commercials popping up there. So I'm like looking over here at the meat lovers and I'm looking back, trying to concentrate on the match. It really distracts me. Maybe if the box was smaller, they still get the commercial in. I don't know what WWE can do for that. But there was a point. There was a point in this match where they went backstage. I don't know if you noticed this. I pick up things. I look for things. And it's one of those things where I guess the microphone was a little too close to the referee that was hanging out backstage when they went backstage. And you hear him say, "All right, boys, 2 minutes to work." I was like, okay.
Man.
What does that mean, Ted?
It just basically means we're in commercial break. And so just, kill time for 2 minutes.
Oh, I heard that loud and clear. You go back, you hear it again. 2 minutes to work, boys. 2 minutes to work. I was
wait, was that right before the commercial break?
Yeah.
Okay,
right
yeah, that's what it is.
They were backstage. 2 minutes to work. Man,
and it is important for wrestlers to know. Obviously, you don't want that to be said out loud so fans can hear, but that is an important thing that the wrestlers need to know, because that way during those commercial breaks, ideally, nothing of consequence really happens, because you want that to be seen clearly and not be distracted during that time.
Right.
But that being said, it's not the first time we've heard the clear referee instructions on the show. Like it was a few weeks back again with Damian Priest, and the ref walked over and said, "Register your balls," or something to that effect, because he had forgotten to sell his nuts that got hit. And so it's definitely something that needs to be addressed, because those kind of details and those kind of instructions don't need to be heard by the audience. Now, the thing that's interesting though is I did notice it seemed like the audio was a little different. I don't know if it was on this show or maybe the first time I really noticed it, but it seemed like there's a lot more crowd noise that you can hear during the course of the show, which part of me at first I wasn't sure if I liked it, because I just heard random conversations throughout the show of like, what are they talking about?
Right.
But then other times, like when the music hit, it felt like you were actually in the Capitol Wrestling Center, and it was actually like you could hear the crowd and the noise. And I think it made that piped in crowd noise better, because it sounded a little more natural. You can still tell, but with hearing the crowd noise anyway, it kind of made it sound like, again, a little more, didn't sound like it was as fake as it does sometimes. Like when I watch, like for SmackDown, for some reason tends to be especially bad compared to Raw with the crowd noise sometimes. But I thought on this show, it kind of worked.
I'm interested to know if they actually turn if the people on the screens, if you hear them, like, are you hearing them as well? Like, are they, do they turn up like, can you hear them cheering as well, or no?
I would assume so.
I'm interested. I know I have to ask, I forgot his name. He's always sending me screenshots. He's getting on like Raw and SmackDown all the time. So he's like, "Hey, look, I'm on Raw today." I got to ask him, like, if your mic is muted or something like that. I'm just interested to hear. But yeah, man, I agree with you. That's what I said at the top. Like the crowd noise, the piped in crowd noise, kind of gave it like a big feel. It worked. Sometimes it doesn't work. In this case, it does. It doesn't work when, you have a wrestler in the ring cutting a promo And you could see the crowd just sitting on their hands or eating their popcorn and their cell phones, not paying attention. And then you listen and like everybody's going crazy, but you could see nobody cheering unless only the people in the cheap seats that are really happy to be there. So yeah, but dude, again, this match was awesome, dude. Anything stick out to you before we get into the finish?
Not necessarily, just in general, I felt like they did a good job with the match itself. So it wasn't necessarily any problem with the guys or the action. It was more so having a 20-minute hardcore match to start a show. I just felt was for a first match was a little long, even on a pay-per-view. And it's more so because it's hard to follow. Now, granted, again, they did a good job following it up, but that being said, I still think it's always difficult to go from there. Not that you can't kick things off with a hardcore match. It does work sometimes, but when you go that long, I feel like sometimes it's hard to follow, in my opinion. But they did a good job, and in general, I felt like they kept the flow up even after this. So kudos to them for pulling it off. But it's not always going to work out that way, unfortunately. So you got to be careful with starting off that way.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I believe the reason they did this was to get the audience there and get them freaking watching because AEW is going on at the same time.
Right.
That's probably why they did that. I don't know if you remember, but I'm sure you remember. WCW did the same thing. You know, when they were doing their thing, they kicked off a lot of their shows with cruiserweight matches, great cruiserweight matches, you know, and you tune in and you're like, oh wow, look at these guys, you know. That's probably what they did. They really wanted, because this could have been a co-main event. You know, this could have been a co-main event. This could have been the main event of the evening, and it was really good, man. I really enjoyed this match. But towards the end of the match, if you don't mind, we have them on the stage, and they're just beating the hell out of each other, that being Gargano and Damian Priest. And then out of nowhere, you got the Scream guy coming out with a lead pipe. And I'm like, oh, okay, who's this? I have no idea who this is. I don't know if you have any idea. And he assists Johnny Gargano before we get into the finish. Any ideas?
Are you sure it's a he?
I mean, it looked like a he, right? Big guy.
I mean, it very well could be, but I also thought perhaps only because she is very tall, I was wondering if it was Indy Hartwell again, because she's been trying to help out. I don't know. It could be someone completely different. We even talked about, did we talk about someone else joining Gargano and them doing a kind of a rivalry potentially with Indy Hartwell? And
yeah.
We said it could be.
I think we said, what's his name? The young good-looking kid. Gosh, he's in a little trouble, or he might potentially.
Austin Theory.
Austin Theory. You know,
I don't know.
Remember, he walked off. He quit.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he's coming back. Maybe
True.
this is his quote unquote redemption. Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe they heard our show the last couple of weeks and thought, you know what, that's not a bad idea. Let's steal it. Let's go steal it. Oh yeah, let's take that idea.
Oh, that'll be Triple H. Let's not pay them and take their idea. Anyway, but yeah, dude. Dude, these guys were going crazy. He gets Johnny Gargano. I can't speak. Johnny Gargano gets handed a tombstone, and he hits the living hell out of Damian Priest. The tombstone crumbles in his hands, and he just, dude, that was kind of a big bump that he took off that stage.
Yeah.
What did you think?
He ended up rolling. He ended up almost overshooting the damn set. he jumped more horizontally than vertically, and subsequently almost missed the set. Luckily, he did hit it, but you're right. He kind of took a hell of a bump off that stage, but it looked great. And especially, I liked all the smoke and dust that kind of came up from the graveyard set. Kind of gave it, kind of a musty feel to it, but it looked visually great. And so I thought it was a cool finish. If anything, after having watched the entire show, it did make me curious as to why they didn't end the show with this match, especially since you had the epic title change. And I feel like that to me is the bigger hook of, holy shit, Johnny Gargano just won the North American Championship. What's going to happen next week versus the the ending we got where, all is still right in the world. Io Shirai is still the women's champion. I feel like the bigger hook between those two would have been Johnny Gargano becoming the new North American champion, in my opinion.
It's a pay-per-view, and I think Ben has told me on multiple occasions that usually on a big pay-per-view, it's babies up. But I think they did that to maybe...
But you got to think this is TV, though. This isn't necessarily pay-per-view. But I can see that, though. It's still a big event. And
it's a big payoff. It's a payoff show.
And I'll say, but at the same time, I also think of what's the hook for the audience? Why as an audience member, are you going to tune in next week to see, did Io Shirai, based on her win, make you want to see what happens to her next week? And maybe I could be, I don't know. I personally didn't necessarily feel that. Not that anything's wrong with Io Shirai. She had a good match with
She's great.
Writer, and she did a great job. But I didn't feel like, as an audience member, I felt that a necessary hook of, okay, well, that chapter's done. I feel satisfied. It's like after you finish reading a book, it's like, okay, book's over and you move on. Versus Johnny Gargano winning, becoming the new champion. It's like, okay, now we're starting a new chapter. I got to see what's next in this book. You know what I mean?
But it's not done because, we'll talk about like who got involved in this match, when we break this match down. But speaking about this finish here, we did have Johnny Gargano who crawled over, and he very reluctantly, not reluctantly, but he was very cautious about the pin. Either that or he was just spent and done.
Oh,
what's up?
I'm sure that people probably didn't realize this. I'm guessing just based on how that hand came down, I'm guessing this was the first time that particular referee had to count on the floor. And he probably learned a very hard lesson. He didn't put it over, but I remember the first time I ever had to do a hardcore match and smacked the concrete floor. Referee smacked the shit out of that floor. And kudos to him. He kept the cadence and smacked it 2 more times. But I guarantee his hand is hurting today.
Yeah.
Because that hurts. It more so than you realize. You smack that concrete. It's like, oh, the first time I did, I remember I smacked hard the first time, and then you saw the next 2 or the next one because it was a 2 count. But still, it's like that's a hard lesson to learn. And the only way, I'm sure most referees learn it is unfortunately trial by error. And the first time you do a hardcore match is smack. It hurts so bad, man.
Well, he made that mistake, and he made the mistake of speaking right to the microphone and telling us that we're going to commercial, but neither here nor there. Hey, Johnny Gargano gets the pin. Dude, this match had me hyped. I was so into the match. Like I said, the only times I was actually taken away from the match is during the commercial breaks. But yeah, man, excellent match. And then we get what do we get here?
Real quick, Ray, I'm going to go to the chat room real quick, only because we got a couple. I always like to shout out the people in there. We got Fudge 420, our good friend, tuning in. I always like to hear from Fudge. He said, shout out Big Ray, shout out Man Beast. He also LOL'd at goodness gracious. Yeah, you should hear some of sometimes, especially when I really get into it, I used to say some ridiculous things on commentary, like goodness gracious and holy frioli and stupid stuff like that. They'd always get on to me. It's like, you sound like someone's dad or uncle trying to do commentary. It's just like it's just what I do.
Did you do like
a sweet sassy Molassy is another one too.
Did you do like a Ned Flanders gimmick almost?
In a way, I was kind of like the nerdy doctor guy anyway, so it didn't really, was a far cry from, one, who I really am as a person anyway, and 2, the character I was trying to present as a commentator, which was more of kind of the nerdy wrestling doctor. And Tables, Athers, and Chairs, a good friend Athers, also in the chat room, and he wanted to say thank you, Ray, finally, because you were putting over Shotzi Blackheart and her looking good last night. But then he also went on to say, I would like Big Ray to take this opportunity to apologize for besmirching Shotzi Blackheart's fine name right here on the Next Level Wrestling Review.
You know what? She's under again this week. She sucks. Her howling was terrible. How do you like that? I don't like her hair. No, I'm not. All right, look, I thought she looked good this week, okay? All right, I'm apologize? Practice? Wait, what are we talking about here? Practice?
Shotzi Black practice.
Oh, anyway. Oh man, Marty Schott. Who was that? Marty Schottenheimer? I can't remember who did that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. No, Athers, you can go wheel down a steep hill and into an ice cream truck, because that's not going to happen, my friend. Whenever you leave the house, I love you, but no, I'm not going to apologize, not yet, because I need to see consistency multiple times. She really didn't. Well, she did some. stuff.
So you would need her to wear that bodysuit every week for a while.
Maybe just paint, body paint. Dude, she's attractive. All right, fine. I apologize. She's hot. All right, whatever. Can we move on?
Let's move on. Let's do it.
Unbelievable. Any other people in the chat room or?
No, that's it. We're done for right now. Until next time.
Fine. So I hate apologizing. It sucks. Is what it is. Anyway. What do we get here? Oh my God, dude. The Vic Joseph, the play-by-play guy.
That was good.
Oh God, that was perfect. It was perfect. I'm sorry. I never put over the commentary. Wade Barrett. I come in as bad news, Barrett. I got some bad news. Hilarious. But I love the Where's Waldo gimmick, dude. Tell me that didn't pop you.
Yeah, it was great. I love when the commentators get in on the fun too. It helps add to the theme of the show. And even though it was just a quick cut to the commentators, it was great. It helped sell the gimmick. The gimmick is we're selling Halloween here. And so there it was. And I thought it was just added to the fun of the show. And I loved it. I thought it was great.
Absolutely. It's like back in the day, like WCW Bash at the Beach. And you had Bobby Heenan, you had Tony Schiavone and whoever else was there. In Hawaiian shirts,
right.
in beach
swim
gears.
Trunks and
dude, it's great, man. I love that. I do really enjoy that. And I thought the Where's Waldo, it popped me like the camera pans in, boom, Where's Waldo? Really cool. Found him, by the way. But yeah, that was pretty cool. What do we got? We got some highlights from last week's main event. Pat McAfee, the new tag team champs. We have Finn Balor. He gets like a superstar profile. What do you think of that?
I don't even remember that. I must have missed it. But,
me either. It sucked.
But it was well. Either way, I don't think it's necessarily wrong to do, because if he wasn't actually on the show in any other capacity, and I think with him being the champion, then you got to still remind fans, especially since on a show like this where you're hoping that the theme of the show and it being a bigger show, you might get some new viewers, maybe even some old wrestling viewers that saw Halloween Havoc's back and tuned in for the first time. So I think that was at least a good opportunity to let people know, by the way, this is our champion. And so if you continue to watch, you're going to see more of this guy. So I can't comment on whether it was good or bad, but I'd say the idea of having a pre-tape with, or a production piece with Finn Balor was not necessarily a bad choice, simply because someone might be tuning in for the first time and need to know, and he wasn't on the show in any other capacity.
Well, dude, we continue and we see the star of this pay-per-view. This guy is the star.
Cameron Grimes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he gets the gold star for the show.
Bro, he gets backstage with William Regal, and he tells him that William Regal's like, you have to head to the parking lot. And Cameron Grimes is like, well, why? Like, why do I have to go to the parking lot? Like, what are we doing here? He's really, really confused, very scared. His character is fantastic, dude. And again, if you haven't seen Cameron Grimes in the ring, this dude is a freaking baller, bro. This guy can work, and he's super strong. We used to call him the Carolina Caveman over in Impact Wrestling, because the guy was just super, super, super pound for pound, one of the strongest guys in the roster, and did some really cool things. I used to put over his in-ring, not only his in-ring acumen, Jesus Christmas, but also the fact that this guy, just his facials and the things that he does, the little things. And man, tonight, this dude proved to me that he could make it on the main roster, in my humble opinion, as a character. Fantastic, bro. And in-ring worker. Wait until you see this guy working on a regular basis. Seriously. Like every single week. Fantastic, bro. What did you think of this little segment between he and Regal?
I thought it was great. It kind of set up the anticipation of what's going to happen in the House of Terror match. And he really sold it as he was overly petrified of the match, even willing to take a loss. And he even made a comment at some point. It was like, your ride's out in the parking lot, and Cameron Grimes go, the parking lot, that's the most dangerous place here. And I thought that was a good, just one-liner from Cameron Grimes, and I thought this was good. There was one point in a future segment right before they went to the ring during this match, because this kind of weaved in and out of the show. That I'll say, and I put this more on the audio guys, is I wish they would have just turned some of those mics down, because when he was crawling through the graveyard on the way back, it was a little long in the tooth hearing Cameron Grimes making scared noises. And I was listening to my headphones, and it felt like for 2 straight minutes, you just heard, ah, ah, ah. And I was like, it sounds like he's doing something that's not being part of a wrestling match.
He was definitely whimpering out loud.
Yes. Which was okay, because that's what he needed to do. But I just wish whoever was in charge of the audio probably should just turn that down a notch or 2, just so that way it didn't sound so grating in the ears. But that was, again, that's a nitpicky thing. Overall, I thought he did a great job performing throughout this match and throughout the show. And this was a great way to kick things off for that particular segment.
Well, speaking about great segments and speaking about great things, we get some Pat McAfee on the microphone, and they showed them backstage coming to the ring. Didn't Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan have a different look about them this week, bro?
You could tell they just felt more confident. They felt more understanding of who they are as characters, and I think it was easy. Now the other characters are the muscle and the backup for Pat McAfee, NFL football star. Has his own podcast and has all these things, and they're basically the backup for Big Money McAfee. Yeah. And you could tell they felt that as performers, and so yes, it felt like they gelled very well, given the fact that they literally just now can't put them together. And I think it goes to the fact that both Burch and Lorcan are obviously pros. They've been around for a minute, but until they really have a direction, or any wrestler for that matter has a direction, it's really hard to get to understand what drives you as a performer, or not necessarily as a performer, but as a character. And so now they kind of know what is driving them as characters, and that's being the muscle for Pat McAfee.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, dude. They had a look of confidence about them. They just look different. And we discussed this now for what, like 2 weeks, that they needed this. And this is exactly what they got, man. This is perfect, dude. And then in the ring, we get Kyle O'Reilly, who interrupts a really fantastic. You had mentioned, what did you mention? The one-liner.
So yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but being around Rip, Pat McAfee threw out a line out there that was reminiscent of stuff Rip would say. So it was Pat McAfee. He said that he hired Rich Holland because he wanted to find a more handsome, stronger, younger version of myself. And Rip, he always, as a joke, would say, I want a younger, more attractive man. Thank you. And just kind of emphasizing that, every time because Rip would put over, sometimes you gotta do things for the boss you might not want to do, you know what I mean? Just ribbing. Yeah. But then Rip would say, no, I want a younger, more attractive man. to anyone who would put over Rip, what do you think of me? And, trying to show off, I want a younger, more attractive man. So when Pat McAfee said that, I was like, that is such a Rip line to say. So it made me laugh. But I do have to say, though, and I know Athers is watching, and I want really anyone from our UK contingent to watch, because now that Pete Dunne came out, he turned his back on Kyle O'Reilly and joined Pat McAfee. I have to assume that Pete Dunne was more or less speaking for the entire United Kingdom and making it official that it's called soccer and not football. I'm assuming that that's what he was trying to say, because he sided with Pat McAfee, a football star. So we finally figured it out. Football is America's sport with the pigskin, and soccer is the thing they do when they kick the ball around.
Yeah, or you could just, if you want to, be technical, it's football. F-U with a little gimmick on over the U. F-U-T-B-O-L. Football. Yeah.
I'm okay if they call soccer footy. I'm all right with that. But football is football.
I love that Athers last week called it footy. He's like, footy. I dated the footy once. Anyway, what? Yes. Yep. That's what they called me in the gym locker room. But anyway, here's the deal. That went over your head. Fine. So this was a fantastic segment. Didn't expect Pete Dunne to turn. I'm sorry, Pete Dunne. Yes, the bruiserweight. I didn't expect him to turn, dude. I was like, okay, guys, because at first I'm like, all right. Is Kyle O'Reilly involved with this whole thing? Is this kind of like a it could still be like, this could be all a ploy and stuff like that, but
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. But Pat McAfee is building kind of a nice little stable there, man, of guys that need a mouthpiece. This is perfect, dude. I mean, seriously, what do you think? What do you think this move? Do you think he adds to this?
Absolutely. And this is one of those things, I could be wrong, but I feel like this was almost like this was plan B, because I think plan A was probably Rich Holland, and obviously with him getting his ankle all messed up a couple weeks ago, that he had to get taken out. But I think Pete Dunne is more than acceptable alternative, and I think he's going to be able to bring that fury and that intensity really that's needed to really help sell this angle. And so I thought it was good. I think he's a more than acceptable. I mean, I don't like to say the word replacement because they're two different guys with two different strengths, and I think both have very bright futures. But I think Pete Dunne, he gets it. He's someone else who also knows who his character is. He knows what drives him as a performer, and he understands what he needs to do to sell that on screen. And he more than did that here. And without even saying anything, just from his body language and the things he did in that ring, I absolutely believe that he's a killer. And Pat McAfee now is truly going to be a force to be reckoned with, because now he has muscle behind him to back it up.
I'm gonna put my mask back on. I feel very unsafe right now. Is that cool? Just for a second.
Yeah. If you have to, man. Something I said.
I don't know, dude. I just felt a little coronary coming. But
coronary.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I don't know. Whatever. But all right, let me pull this thing back down because my glasses are fogging. How do I look with glasses, by the way?
You look good.
Would you?
Nothing wrong with glasses. I wear glasses.
Ted, look at me. Would you? Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, great segment. And I'm sorry for yelling into the mic. What did you call him? Cauliflower Kyle or something like that. That's undisputed. Ended it perfectly. We go backstage, Dr. Ted, and we have William Regal who sends poor Grimes outside in a freaking van, a smoky van, by the way. I thought Snoop Dogg was probably in that van. You know, there was a zombie in the passenger seat, but then we hear Backstreet Atlanta G8, and we get freaking Michael P.S. Hayes, who pops out looking terrible. What did you think of this segment? Did I lose you?
Yeah, it lost me for a second. You were talking about the Michael P.S. Hayes thing.
Yeah. So did you get me singing Bat Street? No.
I did not. No, it cut out.
All right, so let's do this again. So we get Michael P.S. Hayes, who pops out. You hear the Backstreet Atlanta G8. Bow, bow, bow. Anyway, so he comes out, doing this whole Michael P.S. Hayes thing. And yeah, dude, it was really great, man. Cameron Grimes did not want to get in that van. I thought Snoop Dogg was hanging out in that van, maybe puffing a little weed, because it was full of smoke. Well, why was that van full of smoke? Isn't that like a hazard? Maybe there was something with a fuel injection. Maybe they should get the light checked on that thing.
Hey, Michael P.S. Hayes is a child of the, he was around in the 70s, brother. And, he's not afraid to, enjoy little, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. He does drugs. So listen, here's the deal. Allegedly. So Cameron Grimes gets into the van. Grimes says that he hates rednecks as we head to commercial. What's the next match we get on? We got a match coming up now. So what do we get here?
Let me see. Let me check my magic.
I got it here.
Link. Okay.
Yeah, I got Jake Atlas. I just wanted to keep going back and tossing it back to you, but you would, right? Just look at me again, would you? Come on.
I would definitely hire you to do my taxes for sure.
That's not. I want to be like Joe. What? Anyway, all right. So here's the deal. We got Jake Atlas versus Santos Escobar, and man, oh man, he came out. He absolutely stole Mariposa's gimmick. Oh, not Mariposa. What does she call herself now? Thunder Rosa. With the Dia de los Muertes half-painted face, and his boys also came down. Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde and stuff. Dude, they looked fantastic though. When Escobar came out to the ring, he looked like something, like a champion. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. He looked important. Watching him, you realized, all right, this guy, if you were just a first-time viewer and didn't know anything about the guy, you knew, okay, this guy is someone I need to keep a lookout for. He clearly shows that he has that it factor they talk about. That was it. Absolutely. He is, man, he comes out with the freaking mask on, pulls the mask off. Who was Zelina Vega managing? What's this guy's name again? Andrade. He is what I think the WWE wanted Andrade to be.
Yeah.
And Andrade as a worker, they're on par. They're 1A, 1B, even you can interchange. They're both A+ to me. Yeah. Both guys are fantastic. But Santos Escobar, even the name, Santos Escobar. Dude, I told you, we've already booked this last week. We can move forward and hopefully they build some type of cartel around this guy because he is that guy. He is that dude. He is el jefe. I'm telling you, this guy's the boss. He's the man. And he came out and he was the man during this match. Didn't go too long. We have Escobar, who basically put Jake Atlas away pretty quickly. Anything, I think he hit him with the Phantom Driver. Anything stick out to you during this match?
The main thing was the finish, honestly. When they've been trying to put over that mask, that loaded mask. This is at least the second time I know they've done it. But the thing that gets me is if that's what you're selling is that's the way he wins matches, that should have been the finish itself. They should have done the headbutt with the mask. Oh, it's that loaded mask again. And then he gets the cover. Instead, two things that detracted was you hit that beautiful finish. Well, where's the heat in that? That looked awesome. Now I like this guy because you hit a cool maneuver that looks cool instead of just being a shitty heel and saying, okay, I'm going to go for the anticlimactic cover, but we all saw what happened. And that one would have gotten more heat if you would have done it. And two, it doesn't put it over as much whenever, if you really want to put over the mask, then that should have been the finish because as soon as you did the move afterwards, it now means less because you had to get your shit in and do your move. You know what I mean?
Did you say mask? Because I put mine back on. Did you want me to put my mask back on?
No, his mask. Mask.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Please continue.
As soon as he did the headbutt, he should have just gone for a cover because how much more heat would have that gone if he just would have slid over and got the pin versus, all right, now I'm going to pick him up and do my really cool move and get over. There's no heat in that.
My thing is if you have a horseshoe stuck in a mask, doesn't it hurt you too? Saying wrestling.
One would think. I would guess maybe there's a pillow or some kind of soft object and then the metal. I don't know.
It's like the Iron Sheik. The Iron Sheik used to load that boot. Like, how difficult was it? I hate getting sand in my shoe. Can you imagine walking around with a weight? Stuck.
That'd be horrible.
Anyway, but I'm saying, as you were saying,
I was just saying that was my only grievance. I thought the work itself was fine, but he would have gotten more heat, which I assume was the objective, was to put heat on Santos Escobar. So I'd say business wise, it was not effective as it could have been because they could have gotten more heat out of this if they just would have finished the match after the mask thing instead of him getting the shit in.
Hey, you know who's got heat with me?
Who's that?
Well, Adler's got heat. You got heat with me, making me apologize and stuff. Whoever this third person who was supposed to come on, who apparently didn't pay their electric bill this week or this month, that person, you got real heat with me. I was looking forward to working with you, Matt or McIver or whoever. Anyway, we go back. Hey, we get a video package of your favorite wrestler.
And I'll say real quick in the chat room, Daniel Price also said that the commentary team playing stupid about the mask doesn't help matters. And I agree. They should have at least alluded to, hey, we've seen this happen before. It must be loaded instead of acting like, oh, what could have happened? We have no idea. It's like, okay, we've seen it before. Don't make your viewers feel like they're stupid because that's going to turn people off. You know what I mean?
Who made that comment?
You gotta play to the height of your audience's intelligence. And I don't think it's a far cry for anyone with an average, even a below average brain to realize, okay, that mask has something in it that causes people to get knocked out when they headbutt people with it. Instead of being like, oh, what could have happened here? You know what I mean?
Who made that comment right now?
In commentary?
Yeah, in the chat.
Oh, Daniel Price.
Daniel, listen. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. WWE writing is inconsistent. So you get a Molotov right to the face.
And I will say I can't necessarily blame the commentators because if they do it even halfway, and I'm sure they do it even more so than the way we would work with our commentators, and I'm sure they were smartened up and told, we need you to react this way, because that's when you have a production meeting before a show, you sit down with the commentators and you say, okay, this is what's going to happen here. This is how you all need to sell it. So I'm sure they were probably told to sell it as, we have no idea what's going on, which is ridiculous, but at the same time, I can't necessarily blame the commentators because when the boss tells you what to do, unfortunately, sometimes you just got to do it.
But isn't that like, I mean, I've been watching wrestling for 40 plus years. I'll be 45 in March. I know I look fantastic, by the way. I'm going to be 45 in March, and the play-by-play guys or the color guys, usually the color guys, they're the ones who always mention something. About the loaded boot or the fact that Gimmick Jones always carries a roll of quarters in his jock strap. I don't know what happened here. Maybe they just forgot. Maybe their earpiece wasn't working, and you didn't have Triple H talking in their ear. I don't know. I don't know who agented this. The person that agents this match. Is that the person on the headset, like talking to them?
I mean, not necessarily. I mean,
No.
whenever, at least in OVW, it was Al who was on the headset, and I know at least whenever it depends. There's usually an agent that's running. There's usually a show runner, and they'll be doing the whole show, so they're not going to switch out agents to be the one on the mic. I think it just depends on who's backstage and running that particular show.
Gotcha.
As far as the one that's, telling people. But usually you also have, whoever's really in charge. My guess is probably like a Triple H here, possibly a Shawn being the one to also be next to the agent and giving cues and what to do and whatnot. So usually have the agent that's and sitting down and they're doing the times and letting them know when they're going to commercial and things like that. And then you'll usually have like an executive producer that's telling them, hey, sell this more, do this more, commentators sell this, XYZ.
Well, let me tell you something. I was just sitting back here thinking about terrifying things. It is Halloween. And Antifa, super terrifying. I'm just putting it out there, guys. Super terrifying. Look, I got my Molotov.
It's a serious thing in 2020.
If not lavender, maybe like an apple cider vinegar type of thing or something. Anyway, neither here nor there. Anyway, so here's the deal. We get Ember Moon. Ooh, your favorite wrestler, by the way, right? You love her.
My favorite? Sure.
Yeah. Isn't she? She's not your favorite on the roster? Anyway, she puts over Dakota Kai's development.
Well, They are in developmental, so.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
So that was the video package. Did she impress you? Did she impress you at all during this pre-taped video package? She's so terrible. I'm sorry.
I'll be honest, I vaguely remember it, but again, this is one of those things that I feel like at the very least they're helping to sell other things that are going on that don't necessarily have a spotlight on the show. And so I think Dakota Kai and Ember Moon are going to have a match next week. So this was just a quick way to say, hey, these ladies aren't in competition tonight, but next week, this is some of the reasonings as to why we're going to see these two compete in the ring.
We get Shotzi. We got sexy. I'm going to call her sexy Shotzi Blackheart. Okay. You happy, others? Sexy Shotzi. She's on stage.
Sexy.
Oh my God. She's sexy, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Anyway. So we get her telling us that the scares have just started and the haunted house of terror is next. And then she starts howling. Dude, were you excited? Commercials, we go to commercials, and then we get Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis, part 1.
I will say that this has popped in my head. Why hasn't Shotzi Blackheart, if you listen to this, you need to reach out to Cookie Crisp and try to get some of that sponsorship money because that for sure, I mean, right? It sells itself. It's a perfect match. Cookie Crisp.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shotzi,
yeah.
Get on it. Get that sponsorship money from Cookie Crisp.
Dude, why is Otis not freaking breaking through walls, selling Kool-Aid? Oh, yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Well, it's funny you say that. So I've been doing on the Money Locker Room no context commentary. And it's basically where my wife watches a show and she doesn't know the storyline. But the first time she saw Otis, she goes, why is he doing a Kool-Aid Man gimmick?
No way.
For sure. The first time she saw him, she thought he was really doing a Kool-Aid Man gimmick. So it's funny you say that because absolutely he should be getting that Kool-Aid money. Well,
your wife is not only extremely beautiful, but she is super intelligent to have the same mindset as I do, sir.
Well, I try to pick them good because they help make up for my shortcomings.
Whoa, TMI, my friend. But listen,
whoa.
Cam, what? Hey, what happened? So yes, man, we get some cinematic wrestling. This match was this was perfect. Can you break this first part down?
Well, essentially, it was when Cameron Grimes going through like a spooky graveyard place, and then Dexter Lumis appears out of nowhere. It was like something like out of a horror movie, and it was Cameron Grimes trying to run away from Dexter Lumis. At one point, he ran into a bathroom and shut the door and looked through the shower curtain. It looked to be some woman was very provocatively cleansing herself. And Cameron Grimes turns around and said, well, I didn't know Dexter Lumis had a sister.
Yes.
And goes to take off his vest and goes to open the shower curtain, and then zombie. It was a zombie. And Dexter Lumis runs away. Not Dexter Lumis. Cameron Grimes runs away, only to get caught by Dexter Lumis. And then I believe the scene finally ends with Cameron Grimes goes to leave, jumps in. All the zombies start coming out after him, all these different zombie people. Cameron Grimes jumps into the van that brought him to the terror house, only to look over and see Dexter Lumis was in the driver's seat the whole time.
Yes.
He goes and jumps out of the van, and then apparently poor Cameron Grimes is now having to run all the way from the House of Terror back to the Capitol Wrestling Center for the show.
I mean, Dexter Lumis just did the old Undertaker, where to, Stephanie? But he didn't say anything. He just gave him the look, which was fantastic. My favorite was the referee.
Oh, yes.
The referee just with his head in the corner. Oh, dude, you know what line popped the hell out of me? When Cameron Grimes walks into this house and then a little tricycle goes by, he goes, hey, Dexter, I didn't know you had kids. He's like, you got kids, Dexter? Oh my God, that I don't know why I couldn't stop laughing. It was just so well timed. The guy has so much charisma. He's so freaking funny, dude. And he sold like I'd probably be pooping my pants too, man. It was hilarious, dude. Loved it. Cameron Grimes runs off into the night, and then it'll continue. What's that?
You could say, at least according to Daniel Price in the chat room, that Grimes took a wrong turn and wound up in Bad Street, USA.
Oh, jeez.
That was good. I got to give it up.
Is it Monday? Is it time for the monologue?
No, we missed it. Just missed it. It was them. Just them.
I think does Ben.
Now we're in now, but that was them.
Does Ben actually like orgasm every time you do the Monday monologue? Because I do.
Oh, I appreciate that. That wasn't not necessarily my intention when I sit down and write the jokes. I don't think to myself, what is going to cause grown men to be able to orgasm during this segment of the show? But if that helps, then I'm glad to be able to provide this service for our listeners.
Hey, let me just tell you, all right? Viagra started off as just a heart medication and ended up being a hard medication. So that wasn't the intent. Just saying. Do your research, ladies and gentlemen. Dude, we get the match I was looking forward to. King Kong versus Godzilla. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez. Look, usually when you get two big people in the ring at the same time, whether they're females or males, the match doesn't go so well. They don't work well together. I love these girls in the ring together, man. And I think I feel Rhea Ripley helped make Raquel look great. I think she did. I'm gonna break down my opinions of this match, and I'd love to hear yours. But Rhea Ripley did a fantastic job at showing the crowd, with facial expressions, with what she did in the ring, that she not only met her match physically, but she was taking a mental hit because she's like, holy crap, I've never been in the ring with anybody this strong. I've never been in the ring with somebody who's actually bigger than me, maybe even a little stronger than me. And Rhea Ripley had to go into the tool shed to pull out extra tools to beat Raquel Gonzalez, which she did. But this match, I mean, I don't think I'm doing it justice breaking down how many really cool spots these girls did between each other. And man, when you have two big, strong, beautiful women in the ring, man, this was special. This was the beginning. Like I told you, man, I think that Raquel is going to be a huge star. I know Rhea Ripley is going to be a huge star, but I don't know, man. I see more. Don't get mad at me, everybody. All right, no heat, as they say. I think Raquel is going to be a bigger star than Rhea in the long term. This is how I feel. I think there's a lot more room for Raquel to grow. I think what you see is what you kind of get with Rhea Ripley, which is not bad. She's fantastic. What do you think, man?
I can see that. I feel like with Rhea Ripley, I feel like she I don't think she really knows who she is, but I feel like she thinks she does. And that's hard because as soon as you think you're good to go and you assume there's as far as growing as a character that you are where you need to be, then it's hard to be able to continue to develop. So I agree. Unless Rhea Ripley can do, I guess, some more soul searching and really figure out who she really is. And I I could be wrong, but I feel like I get the vibe that she feels she's just kind of biding her time till they pull her up to the main roster. And unfortunately, you got to be hungry for it. You got to be able to just even on her entrance, I felt like she felt like she was over, but I still didn't really get a sense of she knows who she is as a competitor versus Raquel. I feel like she's still trying to get to know herself as well. But I feel like Raquel seems to be trying to be more willing to be able to explore who she is. And I think that kind of showed here because we saw some things from her in the match that we hadn't seen previously. Although she hasn't really gotten a lot of ring time, to be fair, other than in tag matches and being the muscle for Dakota Kai. So that could also be just my bias from not really getting a chance to see her work as an individual. That being said, I thought they both did a really good job. There were some parts where they both, I felt, rushed some spots. Now that could have also been because of TV time and they only had so much time. Possibly they got time cut. But that being said, I thought despite the fact that a couple spots were a little rushed, that they did a good job. And it made me want to see, despite the fact that we got a clean finish, it made me want to see more from these women down the line. So I think business wise, it was a good piece of business here.
My question to you is, and be honest, man, I want you to really be honest with me. Who do you think has the bigger upside? I mean, do you agree with me that Raquel, I see in the long term, has a bigger upside, or do you think Rhea Ripley is going to be the biggest star? Like, who do you think eventually is going to be that chick?
You know, it's hard. I think they both have their own appeal in different ways. Like, for instance, I think especially with the WWE wanting to take advantage more of that UK market, I think Rhea Ripley has a big advantage to that market because obviously she is from a fellow Brit, as a lot of our listeners are as well. So I think that also, from a marketing standpoint, has a lot of appeal. Versus Raquel, I feel like she's still. I agree with you. I think Raquel is still blooming as a performer, and that I don't necessarily know where the ceiling is for her yet because I don't know how much further she's going to grow. But I think that I agree with you in the sense that there's a lot more for Raquel to develop and grow versus Rhea Ripley. I feel like we've kind of gotten to, at least right now, unless I see anything different, we've kind of gotten to the end of her character development. You know what I mean? And there needs to be more character development. Don't get me wrong. I think she definitely needs more character development. I feel like Rhea Ripley as a performer, at least when I see her come out, I feel like she gets a sense of this is who she is as a performer. But the thing is, can you in 2 sentences describe who her character is? I say I couldn't, and that's a problem. No. You can't with Raquel either, but I feel like Raquel, we're still getting to really know her as a character versus Rhea Ripley. I feel like, okay, we know her as a character, but we really at the same time don't know her still.
And they both have extremely marketable looks. You know what I mean? Like they both have money written all over them.
Oh,
absolutely. Here's the thing though. WWE, I think, have been craving. They've wanted that giant. You know, they bought in Karma, or I'm sorry, King Awesome Kong years ago. That didn't work out.
And I will say real quick, in Ripley's defense, I think she got called up too soon also. And that's hard because when you call people up too soon to make, like she got that run with Charlotte Flair and was brought up to the main roster. And I felt like it was a little early because she was still developing. And the thing is, when you go up to the main roster and then you come back, no matter what, you're always going to get the sense of, well, I deserve to be back there. You know what I mean? Even if you do a good job repressing it and say, no, I'm going to come in with a good attitude, you still can't help but have in the back of your head, I was on the main roster, now I'm here. And it's really just kind of buying your time so you can go back to the main roster, except for the people that I feel like have had good long runs and then kind of got jaded and tired. And then, like, for instance, a guy like Finn Balor, who was on the main roster, and I feel like he's having more fun in NXT than he was necessarily in the main roster. And I feel like Athers has brought up like a guy like AJ Styles would really shine in NXT. And he's someone else that I think as a journeyman performer who's been around forever, he probably also would have a lot more fun in NXT versus Rhea Ripley is just getting started in her career. So to be able to go up so early and then come back down, it's hard because you kind of have in the back of your head, like, okay, I deserve to be on that main roster. I'm not necessarily saying she has an attitude, but you can't help but get a taste of the spotlight a little bit, having performed at WrestleMania, get Charlotte Flair and going toe to toe. And then now you're part of the NXT roster. It's understandable that anyone would feel like, okay, well, I'm just here until I can get my spot back on the main roster. And I think in order for her to really come into her own and get you know, one, it wouldn't do her any good to go up to the main roster right now because, again, she doesn't have that identifiable character. I think she needs to take this time to figure out who she is as a performer, who she is as a character, so that way when she does finally get that call back up to the main roster, it actually means something and she's not going to be just squandered away and everyone say after she gets released of, man, what a waste of talent. It's like, no, she is extremely talented, but you got to have that character in order to really set yourself aside from the rest of the pack.
Agreed. I think and just to finish off my thought, Doc.
Sorry.
No. It's cool. I wasn't gonna forget because I wanted to really hear your thoughts on this. But the last really good monster I think the WWE had was probably Beth Phoenix. Like really, because this Nia Jax sucks, dude. She's terrible. I hate her. I mean, no, I don't hate anybody.
It seems like they're trying to book her in that manner. But yes, the one who was actually able to pull it off last was probably Beth. Kong was good too, but she really didn't have the run that was needed to establish her. You know what I mean? So yeah, probably was Beth. And they tried to do the same thing with Tamina as well and didn't work out.
Oh yeah, it didn't work out. So that's what I'm saying. Like since Beth, they've been failing building monsters. Now you got two.
Yeah. You
got King Kong, or I'll say we got Godzilla and Mecha Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? For those marks out there that don't know who Mecha Godzilla is.
We'll say I do like Shayna Baszler too, though, but I also feel like her opportunity was lost when they put Becky over at WrestleMania.
Here's the problem with Shayna Baszler, and don't get on me for this. She just doesn't have the look. She's just not. Unfortunately, she's just not good looking enough for Vince McMahon to think there's money in her. And I love Shayna Baszler. I thought she was going to be a huge star. I guess Ronda Rousey, kind of a monster, but she's not. I'm talking about like imposing figures. I'm talking about like you look because what Rhea Ripley's like 6 feet tall, and Raquel Gonzalez I think is like 6'1", 6'2". Like those are big girls, man. I'm 6'2".
Right.
I'm almost 6'2". I'm like 6'1". That's just a big girls, dude. And I don't know. I just see money. WWE. Look, you got two of them now. You got two of them. They're gonna bring Rhea Ripley up, I think, in 2021. That's gonna happen. And I don't know, man. I just don't see. I see there's a possible it with her, but I don't think she knows what it is yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You know, I would even be opposed if down the line, again, as long as they figure out the direction and the characters. Let's be clear, this idea would not work if they just do it just to do it. But if they can figure out who they are as characters, I actually think putting Raquel and Rhea as a team and have them win the tag titles on both brands and have them be champions for 2 years or whatever, like really make those titles mean something and have them go through all the women as the dominant forces in wrestling until the superpowers explode, so to speak, and they come back around and we say, well, we saw these girls fight in NXT like that. Then everything comes full circle. And then we have essentially a WrestleMania caliber match between those two. If you play it out like that.
So like a modern day female version of the Twin Towers. That's what you're saying.
In a sense.
Yeah. That'll work, dude. Yeah, that'll definitely work. But you know what really worked well?
What's that?
Well,
Segue me, bro.
You know what really worked well? We have Cameron Grimes, by the way. Before I get into what worked well, I'm having issues speaking today. He's running to let me see. Blah, blah, he's running down the road. Blah, blah. Okay, we go to commercial break. Drake Maverick dressed as Hulk Hogan brother, putting on a performance of a lifetime. Absolutely hilarious. We get the Yeti, not the Yeti. If you guys need to know, Tony Schiavone made it clear. It's not a Yeti. It's the Yeti. We got the Yeti and we got Big Show sandwiching him, doing the humping gimmick. That was absolutely hilarious. And then out of nowhere, what do we get? We get Killian Dain as
the Shockmaster.
Oh, dude. Fantastic, man.
But he refused to fall. He's like, I'm not falling.
Well, Drake ended up falling. That was pretty funny.
And then Killian, I like when Killian Dain popped. Like, no, that was funny. He fell.
Yeah, right? It was great
because he fell on his arse.
You know what's funny, man? These guys didn't need to have a match to steal the show.
No, it was good.
It was great, man.
30 seconds of character. Well, it was probably about a minute, but a minute of character work can mean a world of difference and so much more than having a 20-minute banger match. You know what I mean? This minute of wrestling meant more than a lot of the wrestling that we saw on the show. And that's not taking away from the wrestling. It just emphasizes how much character work truly means. And this sold the gimmick.
I love the way he kept calling Mackenzie Mitchell. Well, you know Mean Gene.
And she's like, I'm not Mean Gene. I'm Mackenzie.
Yeah. But you know what is mean? You know who's mean? Dexter Lumis.
You know, but real quick, only because my wheels get turning. It would have popped me if they would have had like a fake little Mean Gene mustache, and Drake just goes, "Well, here you go," and just puts it on her, and she's like, "I'm not doing this," and rips it off and walks away. And he's like, "What?" And then that's when Big Show and Yeti could come in. No. You know what I mean?
That would have been funny, and you just thought of that in 5 minutes, and.
But you got to think when I wrote for OVW, I was always I was usually, although sometimes I did okay with dramatic angles. When it comes to comedy, I felt like that was always kind of my bag, and I could always see those little beats of hilarity. So if ever there's an opportunity, I hope, well, it will happen soon. It's announced a couple weeks ago, and I think on this past Monday we gave away the name Dream Pro Wrestling here in the Kentuckiana area that we're starting. So I'm going to get a chance to write again and book again, and I'm excited for the opportunity. But
awesome.
Anyway, those little comedic bits, I love thinking of just little ways to just heighten the hilarity of it. And so that being said, I'm not taking away anything they did because it was awesome. But that one little bit, since they were putting over Mean Gene, I was like, well, he should have tried to give her a mustache or something, because I think that would have helped sell it more and give her an excuse to walk away and discuss like, I'm getting out of here. But anyway,
why didn't he have one of those bald cap gimmicks in his back pocket?
Yeah, that would have been good. That would have been good too. Yes,
she would have been so upset, and it would have been fun. It would have been hilarious.
But anyway.
No. Anyway, that's great, man. It's little things that add. It's the little things in wrestling. That's why I'm such a proponent, such a big fan of people that make certain faces and do certain things in the camera, and just those little things that make whatever you're watching on television a little more pleasurable. And I tell you, I took a lot of pleasure. In watching part 2 of this Cameron Grimes match. Because we get the graveyard set up, and we get Cameron Grimes. He's getting pursued by the zombie demon girls. Dude, were they creepy or not? Be honest.
They were, and again, this is where I hate it, because it was really good. So I'm literally, this is being nitpicky, but I wish they would have used like some contacts for the eyes, because I felt like they had great look, and then when you looked in their eyes, you could tell they were people in makeup. Versus
what
we usually see a zombie movie or film or show. The eyes are usually like kind of like milky looking, like almost it looks like a dead person, but you could see clearly like these, the irises or whatever in the eyes, and it made him look more human than monster. But that was irrelevant, because obviously this was a hokey, fun, campy kind of deal, so it really didn't matter. But that was just a little small nitpicky thing. I was like, it would have sold them more creepy if they would have had the eye lenses in.
Wait, you're confusing me. Those weren't real zombies?
Well, maybe they were just half turned.
Yeah,
half turned zombies,
because they look like zombies. I don't know. They were walking like zombies. You sure they weren't like?
Zombettes. They were girls. The Zombettes.
Zombettes. I like the one that did the gimmick where she's walking on her, like the Bray Wyatt.
Oh yeah.
Thing, I had a girl.
They looked like they were like from like a local Cirque du Soleil or something like that. Sure. They looked, especially when the one got up on Dexter Lumis's shoulders. That was like, whoa.
She was climbing around him, like
crawled around him. Yeah, that was impressive.
That was creepy. I had a girl that did that to me once.
Oh really?
We'll talk about that off air. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude, man. So yeah, man, this match was great. We get a spine buster from Dexter Lumis on Cameron Grimes. This match, look, they didn't do a lot of in-ring stuff. You didn't need it. It was a lot of great story told here. Finally, we get and what about the gimmick with the girl that was crawling? He threw that chick onto Cameron Grimes. Like, that was stiff, don't you think?
I mean, it looked like it was forced, but I'm sure they practiced. You know what I mean? But yeah.
She did a good job. She did a good job of taking the bump and rolling out of the ring quickly. She did an excellent job. It wasn't about her, man. She did what she had to do. And Cameron Grimes hits the sit-out slam for the 1, 2, 3. Dexter Lumis holding Cameron Grimes ever so gently in his arms, putting him to sleep with the silent. What is it called? The silence. Is that his finisher? Yes, the silence. And he puts him to sleep with the silence, and he leaves Cameron Grimes in the ring, laying so that the zombies could eat him, devour him, and finish him.
And now you know the rest of the story.
Yes. So I don't think we'll see Cameron Grimes for a little while. Ooh, I'm a little creeped out. Cameron Grimes for a little while. But you know what was creepier than that? That was the Sailor Moon gimmick that she did on video. But anyway, neither here nor there. Video package for the main event of Santana Shotzi tells us to come back for the final spin of the wheel. All right. So first, before that, we get a Tommaso Ciampa promo. What did you think of this promo backstage, brother?
Tommaso always, he knows how, again, like someone else that knows his character, knows how to bring that intensity. And I thought this was a good little promo. Again, this was another example of, they didn't have other business on the show. So this was a good way to sell their feud and sell the rivalry between Velveteen Dream and Tommaso. And potentially the business here was to make the viewer want to see these two have a fight. So I think in essence, it sold that.
Well, next week we get Tommaso Ciampa versus the Dream. We get Sailor Moon. I'm gonna call her Sailor Moon. That's what she is to me. Okay, Sailor Moon versus Dakota Kai next week. Oh boy, here we go. We get the final spin of the wheel, and what do you think we get? What do we get? Not head, tables, ladders, and scares. Oh my! Oh, don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that.
It's spooky,
No, yeah.
It's a ghoul or goblin.
Yeah, my junk is an innie now. Don't do that. I popped you. Yes,
got me.
Finally got you. All right, so what did you think of this match, man? If you want to break it down, please do, and I'll give you my opinion.
I felt like they got their time cut. I could be wrong, but they felt like they were rushing through some things. And it's a shame, but it happens, especially when you're in the main event and you have lots of business to happen prior. It inevitably happens more often than probably people realize. But main event is a lot of times at the mercy of everything that happens before, especially on a pay-per-view that's on television. It's not on the network, so they have a harder time going over time. And there's one point in particular that they did a really cool spot where Io Shirai put Candice LeRae's ankle in a chair, did a dragon whip on the ropes, and then literally, I should have pulled out my stopwatch, but it was in less than 60 seconds, possibly even less than 30 seconds later, the ankle was not being sold.
Yep, she was up.
She jumped up to her feet so they could do a table spot. And it's like, at the very least, hobble up to your feet and put it over. But considering the table spot happened immediately afterwards, it was the cool dragon whip spot wasn't even necessary. I wouldn't have done it. I would have chosen one or the other, either do the dragon whip with the chair or the tables. But to follow up the cool dragon whip spot to the tables, now everyone's forgotten about that dragon whip spot that was cool and inventive and different. So why even do it in the first place? Why not save that for down the line instead of forcing it in when you weren't even going to put it over anyway? You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
That was not one of my grievances on it.
I agree 1,000%. We do get a run-in from the Scream guy or the girl, whoever that person may be,
or maybe both, maybe a boy and a girl.
Who knows? But guess what, man? Shotzi comes in for the save. She wants this to be a fair fight, dude. And at one point, I actually thought Io Shirai, I'm sorry, not Io Shirai, Candice LeRae. I thought Candice LeRae was going to win this match. I thought she was. She was on the top of the ladder. She had the help from the Scream guy or Scream girl or Screamer. Yep. Do you know any Screamers?
Well, kayfabe, brother. We'll talk after the show.
You know who's a Screamer? Colin is definitely a Screamer. I think Colin to me. By the way, where is Colin?
Do you think Colin screams at pizzas?
No, I think Colin, after he makes love to pizzas, he cries.
Oh man,
he cries and then he writes a love note to the pizza.
Well, that's where you do want a little bit of salt on the pizza, to help season it. So sure, a little salty tears go a long way.
Sure, why not? I mean, I'm sure. Anyway, and then he plays "Endless Love." But anyway, on his cassette tape player, which he still has. So I'm so sorry, this is so stupid. Anyway, the masked intruder comes in. Shotzi, like I said, she comes in, makes the save. Dude, you get Candice LeRae and Io Shirai. I keep calling her Io Shirai on the top on top of both ladders. At this point in juncture, I'm like, okay, Io Shirai's ladder is set up right under the belt, and Candice LeRae's belt ladder is not set up there. What's going to happen? Is she going to jump over to fight on one ladder? I'm like, that would be a cool spot. No. Io Shirai pushes that ladder, And by God, she was broken in half. Oh my God. What a great dude. She took that. She falls out of the ring over the top onto a ladder, set up outside, breaks the ladder in half. And then I think she sold it great. She just laid across that ladder like she was literally broken in half. Io Shirai climbing to the top, smiling and pulling down the NXT Women's Championship. What a freaking bump this girl took, man. I agree with you though. And I had in my mental notes that this match did seem a little rushed. And I think that was because of the very first match. Very first match.
They went about 20 minutes, which is, really long for a TV show anyway, not to mention the first match. Yeah. These girls still got a good chunk of time. It was about 16 and a half minutes, but I still couldn't help but feel like they were rushing through the spots. So it made me think, just knowing the other side of it, that I couldn't help but feel like they got their time cut, and we're unfortunately still trying to get everything in. And that's the hard part as a performer, especially when you have some really cool stuff. Like, for instance, we talked about that dragon whip. It's where you got to say, hey, since we got that table spot right afterwards, why don't we just go right into that and we'll cut that spot out. You got to be able to cut shit out, so that way you can put over the other stuff and make it meaningful, instead of saying, okay, now we're gonna do the exact same match, but we're just gonna do it twice as fast, because that does not work, unfortunately.
Well, let me ask you, man. Overall, all right, we're gonna rank. We're gonna score this. We're gonna give these ghouls. Oh no, we'll give them ghost. Okay, out of 5 ghost. Out of 5 ghost, how many ghosts do you give this pay-per-view, sir?
Well, it was pretty spooky. I think overall, I'd give it a good 4.5 ghosts. Honestly, it's hard to give a perfect ghost because we talked about the critiques and nitpicky things. But I think as far as just being a good show to hook the viewer and be entertaining from start to finish, yeah, I'm good with 4.5 ghosts.
Yeah, and I keep calling it a pay-per-view because it felt like a pay-per-view.
Right. It was a television special. It was
a television special, but it felt like a pay-per-view. It did like a pay-per-view. The matches were pay-per-view level matches. This dude, I give it 4.5 ghosts as well. You know what? And I'll throw in a ghoul. But seriously, no, 4.5 ghosts easy. No, 4 ghosts easy, 4.5 ghosts with a couple of critical things where certain matches went too long and certain matches were too short, but everything melded for me. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Doc.
No, I was just going to say, maybe 4.5 ghosts, and then, because they aren't so pleasant, I think there's maybe a piece of candy corn or two in there, but, we can deal with that.
I love candy. You don't like candy corn?
I do not.
What?
I know I'm probably the only person in the world that doesn't like candy corn.
No, a lot of people don't like it. Let me tell you something. So first and foremost, what was the other thing we were discussing earlier that you don't like? You don't like holidays. You don't like.
I don't necessarily dislike holidays. I just don't celebrate necessarily. You know what I mean?
But seriously, how
I don't go out of my way.
How beautiful is she? I love you. Oh, Joe.
Oh no!
What?
Come on.
What? You guys, you really have to tune in to YouTube and see what happens, because I gotta be honest. Sometimes we do shit on the fly here, man. And
it's good times.
It is good times. Wait till the holidays coming, dude. We're gonna do a lot more fun stuff here. Are we also on Twitch live? No, we're not doing Twitch, right?
No Twitch, just YouTube live. Trying to grow out that channel, get it get it monetized.
Yeah, well,
still growing. So appreciate everyone subscribing and sharing and doing all that good stuff, because the sooner we can get the channel monetized, the sooner we can do even more cool stuff on here, bringing in more guests and doing more fun things. What are you doing a come hither motion with your finger to?
I'm tickling Joe Biden's chin. He loves that.
Goodness.
He's so cute. He's so cute. Look at that smile. Oh man, I can't wait till this guy's the king of the United States.
Good golly, Miss Molly. That was another one I used to say on commentary. Good golly, Miss Molly.
Good golly, Miss Molly.
And then my co-host commentator would stare at me like, "What the hell are you commenting?"
Man, if I could, one of my favorite lines on commentary was Gorilla Monsoon, when he used to be like, "Would you stop?" I stole that from. I loved him and Bobby Heenan.
Oh, the best, the very best. Those two, the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, they had the chemistry.
You know who has chemistry? You know who's the best? You.
No, you, Ray. Stop it.
No, you.
Okay, fine, me. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, look at the guns there, man. You been working out, brother?
A little bit. Still not quite to the level I wanted to be at, but trying to do a little thing or two.
You look good, bro. You look good. Hey, I'm sorry that our third person didn't get on. And guess what? We're not going to stooge off who it was. I don't even know who it is. But whoever it would have been, I guarantee that son of a bitch wouldn't have added much. So
Jesus, he's gonna hear this.
I know. Listen, pay your light bill. Pay your light bill, okay?
You gotta pay your bills.
Unbelievable. I was looking forward to having who is it? Gimmick Jones? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Whoever it was. They need to download that TLC song, Bills.
Jesus Christ. We don't need no pigeons, all right? What?
Yeah.
Anyway.
No scrubs, no pigeons.
No pigeons. I like no pigeons better than scrubs. But anyway, Dr. Ted, an absolute pleasure. As always have fun. I think I don't know, man. Maybe to tie with the Halloween costume gimmick, Hey guys, maybe you can hit us up on Twitter or hit us on Facebook. Who do you think won the costume contest? Did you know we had a costume contest?
I didn't know it was a contest, but sure, why not? Come on, brother.
Let me tell you something. The winner, the person who wins the costume contest gets a pizza that Colin had just finished making love with.
Oh well.
I don't think I want that pizza.
Yeah, maybe not. Speaking of pizza, Daniel Price says, "Who are these ham and eggers?" He also gave it 3.75 ectoplasms for the show.
Oh, 3.75. So that's close to, wow, really that low?
But ectoplasms, and it's a little different of a scale. I think that one's out of a different number scale, maybe.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, he's doing the Ghostbusters gimmick. So Doc, I guess we're going home here. Again, always a pleasure.
Yeah. You got anything you'd like to plug?
I was gonna. I'm such a pig. Do I have anything I like to plug? Wow.
Well, you know what?
Put over. You mean put over? Yes. Promote. Yes.
Well, you stop, Ray.
What? Oh, fine. Fine. Yeah, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Big Ray's Ministry. Got some cool stuff coming up on Your Life, My Life. I'm actually recording today, finally, because I have been so freaking busy. I haven't been able to record any freaking podcast. Also going to have some stuff from Travis Volts up there, but when you think you're out, they pull me back in. Apparently, I am the co-host here of the NXT of the Next Level podcast, and you know what, dude, I look forward to it every single week. Honestly,
same here, man.
I really enjoy doing this show, man. So I'll be here next week, God willing, again. Also, I did a fantastic show, fantastic Cage Theory, 3 hours, guys. So if you're driving, if you're working, you can listen an hour and a half going, an hour and a half coming back to work, whatever. I love long podcasts. I'm not a fan of those. Look, I don't mind 20, 15-minute podcasts. Those are cool. Those are quirky, but I like to download something and know that I have something to listen to throughout my day at work or whatever. So definitely check it out, man. We have a lot of fun. We laugh a lot, and we get really in depth on this past week's USC pay-per-view. We do talk John Jones. We do talk Khabib. We do talk the lightweight division. I mean, it's a really solid show, and we do get Bulletproof Blake Troop again having trouble. Maybe it's this Antifa gimmick. Maybe that's why I'm all kind of like slow in the mind and stuff like that. You think that may be what it is?
Either that or the chemtrails.
Chemtrails.
Yeah,
you see them?
They're everywhere. Well, nowadays they're invisible.
Yeah,
you can't see them anymore. You see a plane go by and there's nothing behind it. That's dangerous.
Imagine they did a chemtrail. Imagine they did a chemtrail and it was in the shape of John Cena.
Yeah, but you can't see it.
That's why I love you, Dr. Ted.
That's picking up what you're putting down.
That's what she said. So listen, man. Thank you again for having me on, brother. Please put yourself over, man.
It's always a pleasure to have you, man. Of course, if you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Ted the Man Beast, as well as Facebook, Ted McNailer. If you have any physical therapy, health, wellness needs, or character development needs for wrestlers, you can reach out at bookthedoctor@gmail.com. Actually had an opportunity to I hope it helped anyway. Sat down with one of our fellow listeners who had a health issue and at least worked out some treatment options. And so hopefully that'll work out. And I'm always glad to sit down and talk anyone through things as far as helping them. So feel free to reach out again, bookthedoctor@gmail.com. In the meantime, you can catch me, of course, every week here on the Next Level Wrestling Review, as well as the Monday Locker Room. And I know I did miss out yesterday, but hopefully next week I'll be back for the Impact Attack. Yesterday, we turned on the heat for the first time, and I'm guessing that's what happened. We had turned the heat on the night before, Tuesday night, and I woke up Wednesday morning, and I just felt like death. Like I felt like I was completely congested. I had a headache, and I didn't know why. And my wife had brought up to us, well, maybe because I turned on the heat for the first time this year, and I'm guessing all that gunk and build up. We probably should have gotten a new filter, but either way, unfortunately missed out yesterday. But next week, hoping to be back on the Impact Attack. And I guess I'm going to have to cut out here because Ray is about to set a fire. Ray, we're going to have to talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, before Ray sets himself on fire, because we can't let this happen. Ray, don't do it.
That's going to happen. It's going to happen.
No, don't do it. We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen.